the Celtics are at the very least, no matter what LeBron does, a team of the future. In other words, even if LeBron goes to Philadelphia, it ain't over for the Celtics because LeBron's going to go into his, millionth season next year? Eventually, I know I say this every season, but eventually he will be old. And the thing that Philadelphia doesn't have is a genius GM. I mean, Danny Ainge is, if he's not the best GM in the business, he's top 3, and I would say Danny Ainge is the best GM in the business. So, and the brains are really what separates the Celtics. Danny Ainge and Masai Ujiri, to me, are the best minds in the East in the front office. Ujiri's dealing with a market in Toronto that a lot of NBA players dissuaded from because, border, customs you got to go through. It's actually international travel and taxes, et cetera, et cetera. They'd rather avoid it. So he's a little handicapped there. He has to give contracts like to Lowry and DeRozan that are max deals because otherwise, what kind of team are you going to have? Ainge is not restricted that way. And Brian Colangelo is not Danny Ainge. So even if they get LeBron and upset the apple cart for a year or two, eventually it's going to be the Celtics. And consider this. You know how I say in Game 7, I picked the Celtics, but I said the one thing is that the Cavs, it's like the Avengers. They have an army. We have a Hulk. They have all these all-stars. We have a LeBron, says the Cavs, and LeBron is enough to smash everything, right? Well, for the Celtics, the Kyrie will do. I mean, that was a Game 7 that came down to play in the fourth quarter, and they didn't. It's true, the Cavs didn't have Kevin Love, but they didn't have Gordon Hayward, which is like Kevin Love-ish, or Kyrie Irving. And I think Kyrie puts them over the top. They don't have a LeBron. They do have a Kyrie, and that's plenty. Oh, and by the way, Stephen A., they are also in a better position to trade for anyone in the NBA than any other team is. They have more tradable assets than any team in the NBA, and Danny Ainge is sharper than the other GMs. So are the Celtics a team of the future? No matter what LeBron does, the answer is yes.
Well, your answer wasn't wrong per se, but I'm still going to challenge you to make up your mind. Because even though, shove aside the fact that LeBron's going to get old eventually, we understand that. You can't sit up there and talk about how great he is and marvel at his greatness as the greatest player of this era and illuminate and elocute the impact that he has had, while in the same breath raving about what you've seen from Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and then ignore that in combination with LeBron when it comes to Boston for the immediate future. Of course, eventually, LeBron is going to fade because he's 33 years of age, and Kyrie is 25, and Gordon Hayward is 27, and Jason Tatum is 19, and Jaylen Brown is 21, and Marcus Smart is 23, as well as Terry Rozier. Of course, that eventually LeBron will fade, but I'm talking about for the purposes of next season. If LeBron were to go to Philadelphia, the manner in which we're talking about Boston, we'd be challenged to talk about Boston in that same light because right now we visualize them as having dominion over the Eastern Conference, and that would immediately change if you talk about LeBron being in Philly.